Leave immediately. This establishment has standards. You can't waltz through that door carrying your charity case, expecting free meals. Rachel Bennett stood blocking the doorway, her Italian leather pumps echoing against polished stone. Consider your situation. Our cheapest appetizer probably exceeds your monthly budget. Perhaps you meant to enter the soup kitchen 3 blocks over. Jasmine Wells adjusted little Emma softly, keeping her tone measured. I'm scheduled for 7:30 under Dr. Wells. Dr. Wells. Rachel's laughter cut sharp, ice cold. Certainly, and I'm royalty visiting from Europe. People like you fabricate constantly, always scheming access to establishments beyond your station. I'll display my booking confirmation. Jasmine moved toward her device. Rachel's palm snapped forward, striking Jasmine's cheek brutally. The impact resonated throughout the dining space. Jasmine's skull twisted violently. Emma shrieked, "Never attempt touching anything here." Rachel's gaze burned with contempt. "Approach my station again and law enforcement will drag you away. Your demographic inevitably wears restraints." Affluent patrons observed silently. Several activated recording devices. Nobody intervened. Elegant restaurant exterior? Have you witnessed discrimination unfold while remaining passive? 8 hours prior, morning radiance flooded through Jasmine's residence windows. Freshly brewed coffee scented her kitchen warmly. Emma gurgled from her elevated seat, miniature fingers reaching upward playfully. Jasmine assembled the infant carrier systematically. Cleaning cloths, absorbent garments, backup outfits, feeding container, comfort device. Her movements reflected surgical precision from operating theater experience. Wall-mounted frames displayed achievements, doctorate ceremony, surgical staff smiling together, recognition plaque reading youngest head pediatric surgeon, Central City Medical. Plus one additional photograph, wedding image showing Jasmine radiant, Marcus sharp in formal attire, both joyful, both living. That preceded the collision before widowhood at 33, before single motherhood began. Her device vibrated. The facility executive calling, Dr. Wells confirming tomorrow's executive session. Your financial proposal appears outstanding. Appreciated, Patricia. I'll attend. She disconnected, viewing her restaurant confirmation displayed, Le Château, 7:30 reservation, 2 guests, 1 adult, 1 child. Marcus had proposed there 5 years earlier, specifically table 14, Garden Vista. Every anniversary they'd revisited, selected identical vintage, shared signature confection. Tonight marked her maiden visit alone with Emma, celebrating his spirit. She couldn't anticipate the nightmare approaching. Le Château occupied the city's wealthiest sector. Attendant parking, uniformed doorkeeper, crystalline facades glowing jewel-like after sunset. Interior featured ivory linens across 40 settings, each arrangement costing beyond typical monthly rent. The menu listed no pricing. Inquiring meant unaffordable. The establishment belonged to Sterling Restaurant Holdings, a conglomerate controlling 127 premium venues nationally. The chief executive, Vincent Clark, visited rarely, though everyone recognized his authority, feared disappointing him. Rachel Bennett managed the greeting podium 3 years running, treating it like sovereign territory. Her parent owned substantial county property. Her mother chaired philanthropic committees and exclusive social groups. Rachel didn't require employment. She desired the authority, the wealthy connections, the capacity determining worthiness. She'd rejected customers previously, consistently minorities, always citing explanations. Fully committed, your booking vanished. System errors occurred. Kitchen personnel whispered observations. Service staff complained discreetly, yet nothing shifted. Rachel's family wielded influence. Her parent golfed with the district supervisor, ensuring her position, and her behavior deteriorated. Thomas Miller supervised the floor. 45 years old. 20 years hospitality experience, ascending from cleaning crew toward management. He recognized Rachel's conduct violated ethics, yet never halted, never documented, never challenged her. He carried mortgage obligations, 2 university-enrolled children. Couldn't risk employment termination. Therefore, he averted his gaze, maintained silence, became complicit. That evening, during peak service, Rachel examined her reflection in the podium's glass. Flawless appearance, flawless cosmetics, flawless smile reserved for appropriate clientele. She noticed the reservation roster. 7:30, Dr. S. Wells, party of 2. She presumed male, likely surgeon, probably Caucasian, certainly affluent. She remained oblivious. At 6:45, Jasmine arrived at valet circulation. Emma was conscious, attentive, wearing miniature rose-colored garment. Jasmine presented understated sophistication. Ebony dress, pearl accessories, subtle cosmetics. She appeared stunning, professional, dignified. None would matter. The attendant, a young Hispanic gentleman named Miguel, smiled genuinely. "Pleasant evening, ma'am. Enjoy your meal." Gratitude. Jasmine transferred her keys. She lifted Emma from the safety seat, positioned the infant against her side, inhaled deeply. Marcus's voice resonated in memory. Premier French cuisine citywide, Jasmine. You'll adore it. She had adored it annually, every anniversary. The braised fowl, the chocolate masterpiece, the illuminated garden spectacle. Tonight she'd appreciate it, representing both of them. She advanced toward the entrance. The doorkeeper opened substantial glass barriers. Classical melodies drifted outward, comfortable atmosphere, costly fragrances, delicate metallic chiming against porcelain. Rachel glanced upward from her station. Their gazes connected, and everything Jasmine planned, everything she anticipated, started dissolving. Jasmine approached the podium. Emma cooed gently against her shoulder. The restaurant vibrated with hushed discussions. Utensils contacted dishes softly. Crystal vessels clinked. Rachel's eyes constricted, examining Jasmine thoroughly like inspecting refuse. "May I assist?" The phrasing emerged cutting, devoid of warmth, devoid of welcome. "Good evening. I'm booked for 7:30, Dr. Jasmine Wells." Rachel avoided consulting the digital screen. "We maintain no booking under that identification." Jasmine retrieved her device, fingers navigating smoothly across the display. "Here's my confirmation message. I scheduled 3 weeks previously. 2-person table." Rachel barely acknowledged. "That represents an error. We're entirely committed tonight. Perhaps you'd feel more comfortable at the casual diner downhill. I understand they accommodate infants." She smiled, frigid, brutal. "This isn't erroneous. I possess confirmed booking." Jasmine maintained measured tone, professional demeanor. "Could you verify your database?" "I needn't verify anything." Rachel folded her arms. "Survey your surroundings. Notice anyone resembling you? There exists reasoning, standards." A neighboring couple glanced over. The woman murmured something quietly. The gentleman activated his device. Jasmine sensed heat rising through her chest, refusing to grant Rachel satisfaction. "I request speaking with your supervisor, please." "Oh, supervisor request?" Rachel's laughter reached adjacent tables. "Let me predict. You'll claim discrimination, invoke racial grievance." How predictable. Thomas Miller emerged from the dining area, hearing the disturbance, his expression showing discomfort, not intervention. "Everything satisfactory here, Rachel?" "Simply clarifying our protocols to this woman. No reservation, no service." Rachel's voice turned honey-sweet, performing for her supervisor. Thomas observed Jasmine, observed infant Emma. Something flickered in his eyes, perhaps guilt, perhaps recognition this violated ethics. Yet he stated nothing. Jasmine addressed him directly. "Sir, I maintain confirmed reservation. I'll show the message, the confirmation code. My payment card was charged deposit." Thomas hesitated. "Rachel, perhaps we should verify the—" "I already verified." Rachel interrupted sharply. "There's nothing present, and frankly, Thomas, we maintain standards. Our clientele expects specific ambiance, specific guest category." She emphasized the final 3 words explicitly. The meaning was transparent. The racism was transparent. Thomas's jaw tightened, yet he retreated. "I'm confident this represents simple misunderstanding." Coward! That's what his silence communicated. Complicit coward! Jasmine extended toward the reservation ledger on the podium. Let me simply demonstrate. Rachel's hand launched upward, slapping Jasmine's hand away from the book forcefully. The sound cracked throughout the restaurant. Don't dare contact our property. Rachel's voice escalated. This represents private property. You're trespassing currently. Jasmine stumbled backward, Emma startled in her arms, commencing crying. The infant's wails saturated the refined space. Multiple diners stood upright. An elderly Caucasian couple near the window appeared horrified. The gentleman spoke to his wife. She nodded, raising her device. Recording. Rachel stepped nearer, aggressive, invading Jasmine's space. You must depart immediately before this escalates for you. Jasmine adjusted Emma, bouncing her softly, attempting calming her daughter while her own heart pounded. I'm not departing. I maintain every right being here. Rights? Rachel's laughter turned vicious. You people constantly discuss rights. You lack the right being here. This constitutes private establishment. We select our guests, and we don't select people appearing in inexpensive dresses with screaming infants pretending they belong. My dress cost $400. Jasmine's voice remained calm, lethally calm. My reservation is legitimate, and my daughter is crying because you just assaulted me. Assaulted? Rachel's eyes widened with fabricated shock. Everyone here witnessed you grabbing my reservation book. I was defending restaurant property. Thomas, you witnessed it, correct? Thomas examined the floor, stated nothing. See? Rachel smiled triumphantly. Now depart before I summon law enforcement. Summon them. Jasmine's voice stayed still. Please summon them. Let's establish this officially. Rachel's smile faltered momentarily. Then she retrieved her device. Fine, have it your method. She dialed, positioned the device to her ear, waited. Yes, I require police at Le Château restaurant on Heritage Boulevard. Her voice transformed, became breathless, frightened. There's a woman here creating disturbance. She attempted assaulting me. She's refusing departure. She possesses an infant with her, and I'm concerned about the child's welfare. Jasmine's stomach dropped. The fabrication was blatant, obvious, yet Rachel delivered it flawlessly. She's becoming increasingly aggressive. Rachel's voice trembled currently, performing. I'm uncertain if she's intoxicated or what, but please hurry, I'm frightened. Affirmative, she's African American, approximately 5'6", ebony dress. Affirmative, an infant. Perhaps 6 months? I'm uncertain if it's even hers. Please dispatch someone quickly. She disconnected, regarded Jasmine with satisfaction. They'll arrive in 5 minutes. And we all comprehend how this concludes, don't we? Resisting arrest, assaulting an officer, child endangerment. Each phrase landed like strikes. Your infant will be in foster custody by midnight. Emma screamed louder. Jasmine held her close, whispering gentle words. It's okay, baby. Mama's here. It's okay. The elderly couple approached. The woman spoke first, her voice firm. Excuse me, but I observed everything. This young woman did nothing wrong. You struck her first. Rachel turned on her. Ma'am, I appreciate your concern, but you must be mistaken. Please return to your table. I know what I observed. The woman's husband nodded. We both observed it. That was assault, and your phone call was full of lies. Sir, with all due respect, you should mind your own business. Rachel's voice turned icy. Unless you want to be asked to leave as well. The couple exchanged glances, but they didn't back down. The woman kept her phone up, recording. More diners were recording now. At least 6 phones pointed at the scene. Rachel noticed. Her confidence wavered slightly, but she pushed forward. All of you need to put your phones away. Recording in this restaurant is prohibited. It's posted on the door. Nobody lowered their phones. A young Caucasian woman in the corner stood up. I'm an attorney. What you're doing is illegal discrimination. Multiple witnesses will testify to that. Rachel's face flushed red. Thomas, get these people under control. Thomas raised his hands helplessly. Everyone, please, let's just calm down. Calm down? The elderly woman's voice rose. That hostess just assaulted a customer and filed a false police report. You're the manager and you're doing nothing. Thomas's face went pale. He looked at Jasmine, at Rachel, at the growing crowd of witnesses. And still he did nothing. Kitchen staff appeared in the doorway to the dining room. 2 Hispanic cooks, an African-American dishwasher, and Asian prep chef. They watched with knowing eyes. They'd seen this before. Maybe not this extreme, but they'd seen Rachel's racism, felt it themselves. One of the cooks pulled out his phone, started recording. Rachel saw it. All kitchen staff, back to your stations now. They didn't move. Outside, red and blue lights flashed through the windows. A police cruiser pulled up, then another. Rachel's smile returned, triumphant, cruel. Here we go, now we'll see who belongs and who doesn't. She looked directly at Jasmine. You should have left when I told you to. Now you're going to jail. And that baby, she's going straight to Child Protective Services. Jasmine stood perfectly still. Emma had quieted slightly, sensing her mother's tension. Jasmine's mind raced. She could leave, should leave, protect Emma from whatever was about to happen. But if she left, Rachel won. Rachel would do this to someone else, someone without resources, someone without witnesses, someone without a voice. No, this ended here tonight. The restaurant door opened. 2 officers walked in, 1 Caucasian, 1 Hispanic. Their hands rested near their belts, near their weapons. Rachel rushed toward them. Officers, thank God you're here. That woman, she pointed at Jasmine. She attacked me. She tried to force her way into the restaurant. When I asked her to leave, she became violent. I'm afraid for my safety. The Caucasian officer looked at Jasmine. His face hardened immediately. His hand moved to his gun. Everything was about to get so much worse. Officer Reynolds stepped forward, 42 years old, military haircut, ice blue eyes that had already decided Jasmine was guilty. Officer Gonzalez hung back, younger, uncomfortable. His eyes moved from Jasmine to the crowd of witnesses. Ma'am, I need you to step outside now. Reynolds' hand stayed near his weapon. His voice carried the weight of assumed authority. Jasmine adjusted Emma carefully. Officer, I'm the victim here. This woman assaulted me. I have witnesses. I have a confirmed reservation that she's refusing to honor because I said outside. Reynolds cut her off. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Your choice. Rachel stayed behind Reynolds like he was a shield. Her eyes glistened with fake tears. She grabbed me, officer, right here. She touched her wrist. I was so scared, and the baby was crying so loud. I think something might be wrong with it. Her name is Emma. Jasmine's voice stayed level. And she's crying because your hostess slapped me in front of her. That's a lie. Rachel's voice broke. Perfect performance. I never touched her. She's making this up because I wouldn't give her a table without a reservation. Then she became violent. The elderly couple pushed forward. Officer, that's not true. We saw the whole thing. The hostess struck her first, then made a false police report. Reynolds barely glanced at them. Sir, ma'am, please step back. Let me handle this. But we're witnesses. The woman insisted, step back or I'll cite you for interfering with police business. Reynolds' voice went hard. The couple hesitated, then stepped back, but the woman kept her phone up, recording everything. Reynolds turned back to Jasmine. Outside. Last warning. Jasmine looked at Gonzalez. The younger officer's face showed conflict, but he said nothing. She walked toward the door. Emma whimpered against her shoulder. Jasmine whispered, it's okay, sweet girl. Mama's got you. Outside, the evening air felt cold. The valet area was bright with streetlights. Expensive cars lined the curb. A small crowd had gathered. More phones came out. Someone was live streaming. Reynolds followed close behind, too close, invading her space. Put the baby down. What? Jasmine turned. Why would I put her down now? I need to talk to you and I need your hands visible. She's 6 months old. I'm not putting my baby on the ground. Jasmine's voice rose for the first time. That's insane. It's a safety issue, ma'am. Reynolds stepped closer. You could be hiding a weapon. You could use that baby as cover. Put her down or I'll take her from you. Fear shot through Jasmine's chest. Real fear. You can't take my daughter. I can and I will if you don't comply. Reynolds' hand moved to his belt. Final warning. Gonzalez spoke up. Reynolds, come on, man. She's got a baby. Just talk to her. I've got this, Gonzalez. Reynolds didn't take his eyes off Jasmine. You want to question my judgment? You want to write the report explaining why you let a suspect maintain control of a potential hostage? Hostage? Jasmine's voice cracked. She's my daughter. I have her birth certificate in my bag, her medical records, pictures on my phone. Let me see that bag. Reynolds grabbed it. Jasmine turned her body, protecting Emma. You need probable cause to search me. What crime do you think I committed? Trespassing on private property? Assault? Resisting police orders. That's 3 crimes. Reynolds' face flushed red. Now give me the bag or we're taking you in and Child Protective Services takes the baby. The crowd gasped. Someone shouted, "This is wrong." Reynolds spun toward them. Everyone, back up. This is police business. Anyone who interferes will be arrested. The young lawyer from inside stepped forward. Officer, I'm an attorney. You cannot search her without probable cause. You cannot separate her from her child without evidence of abuse or neglect. What you're doing is illegal. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you one time to step back. Reynolds' hand moved to his handcuffs. Don't make me ask twice. The lawyer stood her ground. I'm not interfering. I'm observing. That's my legal right. And I'm recording every word for the civil rights lawsuit this woman is going to file. Reynolds' jaw clenched. But he turned back to Jasmine. The bag now or your daughter goes to CPS tonight. You'll be lucky to see her again by Christmas. Jasmine's hands trembled. Emma was crying hard now, sensing her mother's fear. Every instinct screamed at Jasmine to run, to protect her baby, to get away from this man who had a gun and a badge and hate in his eyes. But running would make it worse. Running always made it worse. Fine. Her voice barely whispered. Fine. Just please don't take my baby. She handed him the diaper bag with her free hand. Reynolds grabbed it, unzipped it roughly, dumped the contents onto the sidewalk. Diapers tumbled out, wipes, a bottle, baby clothes, pacifiers, Jasmine's wallet, her phone, her keys, her hospital ID badge clattered across the concrete. Reynolds picked it up, studied it. Central City Medical, Dr. Jasmine Wells, Chief of Pediatric Surgery. He read it aloud, voice dripping with mockery. Right, you steal this from someone? That's my ID. I am Dr. Wells. Sure you are. Reynolds tossed it back onto the pile. And I'm the Surgeon General. You know how many fake IDs I see every week? Call the hospital. Jasmine's composure cracked. Call them right now. They'll confirm who I am. I'm not calling anyone based on a fake badge. Reynolds kicked through the pile of baby supplies. Where are the drugs? The stolen credit cards? What else you got in here? There's nothing. Jasmine's voice rose. This is harassment. This is racial profiling. Oh, here we go. Reynolds stood up, stepped close. Playing the race card. You people always do. Can't take responsibility for your own actions. So you blame racism. Gonzalez shifted uncomfortably. Reynolds, maybe we should just… Gonzalez, I swear to God if you second guess me one more time. Reynolds whirled on him. You write the report, then you explain to the sergeant why you let a trespassing suspect walk. Gonzalez went quiet. The elderly couple pushed forward again. Officer, we have video of everything that happened inside. The hostess assaulted her. We can show you right now. Reynolds ignored them. He pulled out his own phone, took a picture of Jasmine's scattered belongings on the sidewalk, then a picture of Jasmine holding Emma. For the report, he said, making it sound official, making it sound justified. But Jasmine saw it for what it was: humiliation, documentation of her degradation, evidence for a false narrative he was already constructing. Pick up your things. Reynolds gestured at the mess. Slowly, one hand. Keep the other one where I can see it. I'm holding my daughter. Jasmine's control was slipping. How am I supposed to pick things up with one hand while holding a baby? Figure it out. Reynolds crossed his arms. Or leave it. Your choice. Jasmine knelt awkwardly. Emma wailed against her chest. She tried to scoop diapers back into the bag with one hand. It was impossible. Items fell, rolled away. A woman from the crowd rushed forward. Let me help you. Stay back, Reynolds barked. Do not touch anything. That's evidence. Evidence of what? The woman's voice shook with anger. Evidence that she's a mother with a baby. More people crowded closer. The valet Miguel stepped forward. I saw her arrive. She was calm, respectful. She did nothing wrong. Everyone needs to disperse. Reynolds' hand moved to his radio. I'm calling for backup if this crowd doesn't clear out right now. But they didn't move. The phones kept recording. The live stream counter climbed, hundreds of viewers, then thousands. Someone shouted, "This is 2024. We see you. The whole world sees you." Reynolds' face went darker, angrier. "You're all interfering with an active police investigation. I can't arrest every single one of you." "For what?" The young lawyer's voice cut through. "For witnessing your illegal search? For documenting your civil rights violations? Go ahead, officer, arrest us all. Let's see how that plays in court." Reynolds looked around at the phones, at the crowd, at the growing number of witnesses who wouldn't be silent or scared. He was losing control, and men like Reynolds hated losing control. He turned back to Jasmine. She was still on her knees trying to gather her things. Emma screams, her dignity scattered across cold concrete alongside diapers and baby wipes. "Stand up!" Reynolds grabbed her arm, yanked her upward. Jasmine stumbled, nearly dropped Emma. "Don't touch me. You're under arrest for resisting police orders, trespassing, and assault." Reynolds pulled out handcuffs. "Put the baby down now." "No." Jasmine's voice broke. "Please, you can't do this. I haven't done anything." Gonzalez finally stepped forward. "Reynolds, man, this is too much. She hasn't resisted. She's been compliant. Just let her go. She's resisting right now." Reynolds pointed at Jasmine. "She won't put the baby down." "That's resisting because you're trying to separate a mother from her infant for no legal reason." Gonzalez's voice rose. "This is wrong, and you know it." The two officers faced each other. Tension crackled between them. The crowd held its breath. Jasmine clutched Emma tight. Her mind raced. She needed help, real help, someone with power, someone these men would actually listen to. She had one phone call, one person who might change everything. She just had to get to her phone. It lay on the ground 3 feet away, mixed in with diapers and baby clothes, her lifeline scattered like trash. "Officer Reynolds." Jasmine's voice came out steady, calm, despite the fear coursing through her. "I need to make a phone call. That's my legal right. Whether I'm detained or arrested, I have the right to one call. You're not under arrest yet." Reynolds smiled cold. "So no, you don't get a call. Then let me go. Not until we sort this out." "Then I am being detained, which means I have rights." Jasmine stood straighter. "I'm going to pick up my phone and make one call. If you try to stop me, every camera here records you violating my constitutional rights." Reynolds hesitated. The phones, the witnesses, the lawyer taking notes, Gonzalez watching him with judgment in his eyes. "Fine." He spat the word. "One call." "Make it quick and put that baby down first." "No." Jasmine bent down, grabbed her phone, kept Emma secure against her chest. "I'm making my call. You can either wait or arrest me, but either way, the whole world is watching." She unlocked her phone with shaking fingers and dialed the one number that would change everything. The phone rang twice. A man answered. "Dr. Wells, I was just about to call you about tomorrow's executive session." "Vincent, listen carefully." Jasmine's voice cut through. "I'm outside Le Château, your restaurant. Your hostess physically assaulted me, refused my reservation, called the police with false accusations, and right now this officer is threatening to take my daughter into custody." Silence. Then Vincent Clark's voice changed completely. "Rachel Bennett, the hostess, where's Thomas?" "Your manager watched it happen." "Did nothing. Put the officer on now." Jasmine held out her phone to Reynolds. "The CEO of Sterling Restaurant Holdings wants to speak with you." Reynolds grabbed it roughly. "This is Officer Reynolds. We're responding to a trespassing complaint. The situation is under control." Vincent's voice exploded through the speaker, loud enough for the whole crowd to hear. "Under control? You're detaining Dr. Jasmine Wells, board member of Central City Medical, the surgeon who saved my grandson's life last year." Reynolds went pale. "Sir, you didn't ask. You saw an African-American woman and assumed criminal." Vincent's rage was palpable. "You threatened to take her child. Do you understand what you've done?" Gonzalez stepped closer, recognition dawning on his face. Dr. Wells from Central City Medical. Reynolds. She's the chief of pediatric surgery. I can see the videos already. Vincent's voice went cold. They're trending, millions of views. I watched Rachel strike her. I watched your illegal search. Every second is documented. The crowd erupted, phones everywhere. The live stream counter exploded. Inside the restaurant window, Rachel's face showed confusion, then terror. Something had gone very wrong. Thomas stood frozen beside her, hand over his mouth. Vincent continued, Dr. Wells performed a 14-hour surgery on my grandson. Inoperable tumor. She saved his life. She gave my daughter her son back. He paused. And tonight your hostess called her trash. You scattered her baby's belongings like garbage. Reynolds tried to speak. His hand trembled. There's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, just racism, just abuse of power. Vincent's voice cracked. Put Dr. Wells back on. Reynolds held out the phone like it was burning him. Jasmine took it calmly. I'm here. Jasmine, I'm so deeply sorry. Rachel Bennett is fired immediately. Thomas is suspended without pay. I'm 8 minutes away. Applause erupted from the crowd. Rachel burst through the restaurant door. Wait, Mr. Clark, I didn't know who she was. If I had known... Jasmine turned to face her, met her eyes directly. That's exactly the problem. 4 words. Devastating. Rachel's mouth open, closed, no sound. The elderly couple stepped forward. We recorded everything. The slap, every insult. The valet spoke up. I've seen her refuse service to African American customers before, multiple times. A kitchen worker emerged. She called me a slur last month. I reported it. Nothing happened. Another voice. She told me to go back to Asia. I was born here. The stories flooded out. Months of racism, years of discrimination, all documented now, all on camera, all undeniable. Thomas backed away. I didn't know it was this extensive. You knew enough? The young lawyer pointed at him. You're the manager. You did nothing. That's complicity. Gonzalez turned to Reynolds. We need to file an honest report about what actually happened. Reynolds looked around wildly at the phones, the witnesses, his career dissolving. I was following procedure. You threatened to take her baby. That's not procedure. That's abuse of power. A black SUV pulled up, executive plates. Vincent Clark stepped out. 58, silver hair, tailored suit, his face flushed with anger. He walked straight to Jasmine. Dr. Wells, I'm profoundly sorry. She stood there still holding Emma, still surrounded by scattered baby supplies. Words are easy, Vincent. What happens next? He turned to face Rachel, Thomas, the cameras, the world watching. What happens next is accountability, real consequences. He pulled out his phone. Security is on the way. Rachel, you're terminated effective immediately. Thomas, you're suspended pending investigation. Both of you will be escorted from the premises. Rachel's voice rose desperate. Please, my father knows the district manager. I've worked here for 3 years. Your connections won't save you. Vincent's voice was ice. You assaulted a customer. You committed racial discrimination. You filed a false police report. You're done. He turned to the crowd, to the cameras. Sterling Restaurant Holdings condemns racism in all forms. This behavior does not represent our values. We will conduct a full investigation across all our locations. Changes start tonight. Jasmine spoke quietly. I don't want just words, Vincent. I want systemic change. You'll have it. You have my word. He looked at her. And you have my personal guarantee that this never happens again. 2 security officers arrived, approached Rachel and Thomas. Rachel tried one last time, turned to Jasmine, tears streaming. I'm sorry. I didn't mean, please. I was just doing my job. Jasmine said nothing, just held her daughter, her dignity intact, her power undeniable. Security escorted Rachel toward the exit. She was crying, makeup running, career destroyed. Thomas followed, head down, silent, ashamed. The crowd watched them go, justice playing out in real time. The tables had completely turned. Security guards flanked Rachel, one on each side. She twisted away from their grip, mascara streaking down her face. Please, Mr. Clark, my father will call you. He's friends with the board. We can fix this. Vincent didn't even look at her. Your father's connections mean nothing. You committed assault, racial discrimination, false police report. You're terminated. Security will escort you out. But I've worked here for 3 years. Rachel's voice cracked, desperate now. I know all the regulars. I bring in wealthy clients. You can't just... You're trespassing now. Vincent's voice was flat. Leave voluntarily or I'll have you arrested. Rachel turned to the crowd, to the witnesses. You don't understand. She tried to grab the book. I was protecting restaurant property. I was doing my job. The elderly woman stepped forward. We all saw you slap her first. We saw everything. Your lies won't work. I wasn't lying. Rachel's eyes were wild, panicked. She doesn't belong here. Look at her. This is a 5-star restaurant. We have standards. The words hung in the air, damning, undeniable, caught on 7 different cameras. Vincent's jaw clenched. Get her out now. Security pulled Rachel toward the exit. She fought, screamed. This is unfair. I didn't know who she was. If someone had told me she was important, everyone is important. Jasmine's voice cut through the chaos, quiet, powerful. That's what you'll never understand. Rachel's face contorted with rage. You think you've won? You think this changes anything? There are 1,000 restaurants in this city. I'll work somewhere better, somewhere that appreciates. No restaurant will hire you. The young lawyer held up her phone. This video has 2 million views already. Your name is trending. Your face is everywhere. Your career is over. Rachel's legs seemed to give out. Security had to hold her up. No, this can't be happening. This isn't fair. The kitchen worker who'd been called a slur stepped forward. You want to talk about fair? After what you've done to us, to her, to everyone you look down on? Other staff members emerged. The dishwasher, the prep chef, a server who'd stayed quiet for years. She made me cry in the bathroom every week, the server said. Called me stupid. Said I was lucky to have a job. She threw food at me once, the prep chef added. Said Asians should stick to takeout. The stories came fast, each one a nail in Rachel's coffin. She stopped fighting, just hung between the security guards, sobbing, broken. They dragged her out, past the valet, past the onlookers, into the night where her Mercedes waited, her privileged life crumbling around her. Thomas stood frozen near the entrance. Vincent turned to him. You're suspended without pay pending a full investigation. If we find you enabled this behavior, you're done permanently. Thomas's voice came out weak. I should have stopped her. I should have intervened. I was a coward. Yes, you were. Vincent didn't soften it. How many times did this happen? How many people did you watch her abuse? Thomas looked at the ground. I don't know. Maybe 20, maybe more. I told myself it wasn't my problem. I had bills, kids in college. I couldn't afford to lose this job, so you let other people lose their dignity instead. Jasmine's words landed like stones. Every time you stayed silent, you chose your comfort over someone else's humanity. Thomas's face crumpled. I know. God, I know. Is there anything I can do? Any way to make this right? You can leave. Vincent gestured to security. We'll be in touch about the investigation. Don't contact any staff members. Don't try to influence the process. Thomas nodded, walked toward his car like a man heading to execution, his shoulders slumped, his career in ruins. Inside the restaurant, diners whispered. Some looked ashamed. They'd watched it all happen too. They'd done nothing. Vincent turned to Jasmine. Please come inside. The best table, everything is complimentary, lifetime VIP status, whatever you need. Jasmine looked at the restaurant. At the place where Marcus had proposed, where she'd planned to honor his memory, the place that had destroyed that memory tonight. I need to go home, Vincent. My daughter needs to sleep. I need to process this. Of course. Vincent pulled out his phone. I'm calling my personal driver. He'll take you home. And Jasmine, his voice broke slightly. This was unacceptable, unforgivable. I will make sure it never happens again. Not here, not at any of our locations. I'll hold you to that. Jasmine adjusted Emma, who had finally fallen asleep, against her shoulder. Real change, not just PR statements, real change. You have my word. Gonzalez approached carefully. Dr. Wells, I need to file an incident report, an accurate one. Would you be willing to give a statement? Yes. Jasmine looked at Reynolds, who stood off to the side, pale, silent. Will it include Officer Reynolds' conduct? It will include everything. Gonzalez's voice was firm. The illegal search, the threats, all of it. Reynolds finally spoke, his voice small. "Dr. Wells, I didn't know. You didn't ask." Jasmine met his eyes. "You saw an African-American woman with a baby and you assumed I was a criminal. You threatened to take my child. Those aren't mistakes, officer. Those are choices. I was responding to a call following protocol. Threatening to take a baby is not protocol." Gonzalez cut him off. "You crossed the line, multiple lines, and I'm documenting every single one." The elderly couple approached Jasmine. "We're sending our videos to you, to the police, to the news. Everyone needs to see this. Thank you." Jasmine's voice was thick with emotion. "Thank you for not looking away. We couldn't." The woman's eyes glistened. "We have grandchildren. We kept thinking, what if someone treated them this way? What if no one spoke up?" More witnesses came forward offering videos, contact information, statements. The valet Miguel approached shyly. "Dr. Wells, I'm so sorry. I should have come inside. I should have said something sooner. You spoke up when it mattered." Jasmine touched his arm gently. "Thank you." A black town car pulled up, Vincent's driver. Jasmine gathered her scattered belongings. Witnesses helped picking up diapers, wipes, her wallet, her phone, treating each item with care, with respect, the respect Rachel had denied her. She climbed into the car. Emma still sleeping, still innocent, still unaware that her mother had just changed something important. As the car pulled away, Jasmine looked back at the restaurant, at the crowd, the phone still recording. The video was already going viral. Hashtags trending, news alerts pinging. By morning, the whole world would know Rachel Bennett's name, would know what she'd done, would know what happened when hate met consequences. Justice served cold and swift. But this was just the beginning. The video hit 5 million views by midnight, 10 million by morning. Every major news outlet picked it up. Every social media platform exploded with reaction. Racist hostess assaults African-American doctor trended #1 nationally, then globally. By Monday morning, protesters gathered outside Le Château. Signs reading "Black Excellence Matters" and "Racism has consequences" lined the sidewalk. News vans blocked the street. Reporters shouted questions at anyone entering or leaving. The restaurant stayed closed. Vincent Clark released a statement. "We are conducting a comprehensive investigation into discriminatory practices across all Sterling dining locations. Dr. Jasmine Wells has been appointed to our corporate advisory board to oversee equity and inclusion reforms." But Jasmine wanted more than corporate statements. She wanted legal accountability. Her attorney filed charges within 48 hours against Rachel Bennett: assault and battery, filing a false police report, violation of civil rights under state law. Against Officer Reynolds, illegal search and seizure, abuse of authority under color of law, threatening the welfare of a minor, civil rights violations. Against Thomas Miller, complicity in discrimination, failure to intervene, creating a hostile public accommodation. The district attorney reviewed the evidence. 7 videos from different angles. Dozens of witness statements. Officer Gonzalez's official report confirming Reynolds' misconduct. All 3 were formally charged within a week. The media coverage intensified. Morning shows interviewed Jasmine. She sat in her hospital office, Emma on her lap, and spoke with quiet power. "This isn't about me. This happens every day to people who don't have resources, who don't have cameras, who don't have a platform." Her voice was steady, clear. "I'm fighting for every African-American mother who's been told she doesn't belong. Every person of color who's been dehumanized. This has to stop." The interview went viral. 20 million views in 2 days. Civil rights organizations rallied. The NAACP issued statements. Legal advocacy groups offered support. The story became a national conversation about racism in public accommodations. Rachel Bennett's trial came first. Municipal courthouse, packed gallery, news cameras lined the hallway. Rachel entered wearing a modest dress, hair pulled back, makeup minimal, her expensive lawyer beside her. The prosecution presented video evidence, all 7 angles. The slap heard clearly. Rachel's words captured perfectly. Ghetto trash, charity case, your kind. Witnesses testified. The elderly couple described what they saw. Miguel the valet explained Rachel's pattern of discrimination. Kitchen staff detailed years of racist abuse. Rachel's defense tried to paint her as stressed, overworked, having a bad day. The prosecutor destroyed it. A bad day is spilling coffee. A bad day is missing the bus. A bad day is not assaulting a customer and calling her racial slurs. That's hate. That's a choice. That's a crime. Former customers came forward. An African-American businessman Rachel had refused service to, an Asian woman she'd mocked, a Latino family she'd turned away. The pattern was undeniable. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Rachel stood as the judge read the verdict. You used your position to humiliate and harm people based on race. You filed false reports endangering an infant. You showed no remorse until you faced consequences. The judge's voice was hard. 90 days in county jail, 200 hours of community service at the Cultural Diversity Center, mandatory counseling for racial bias, permanent criminal record. Rachel collapsed into her chair. Her lawyer caught her. She sobbed openly. Her father stood in the back, stone-faced. His connections couldn't save her now. Officer Reynolds' trial followed, same courthouse, bigger crowd, more media. The prosecution brought devastating evidence, body camera footage from Gonzalez showing everything, audio of Reynolds threatening to take Emma, video of the illegal search. Then came the history, 17 prior complaints of racial profiling, all swept under the rug, all ignored by his department. Officer Gonzalez testified as the prosecution's star witness. Reynolds has a pattern. I've seen it for years. He targets people of color, uses excessive force, makes assumptions based on race. I should have reported it sooner. I didn't. That's on me. Expert witnesses explained racial profiling, constitutional rights, proper police procedure. Reynolds' defense claimed he was following protocol, responding appropriately to a trespassing call. The prosecution played the video, Reynolds threatening a baby, dumping baby supplies on the ground, mocking Jasmine's medical credentials. That's not protocol, the prosecutor said. That's tyranny. That's a man who believed his badge made him above the law. The jury deliberated 5 hours. Guilty on all charges. The judge showed no mercy. You took an oath to serve and protect. Instead, you weaponized your badge against an innocent woman and child. You threatened to separate a mother from her infant. You conducted an illegal search to humiliate her. You have 17 prior incidents showing this wasn't an isolated mistake. This was who you are. He paused, let it sink in. 6 months in county jail, immediate termination from the police force, loss of pension, permanent ban from law enforcement. You will never wear a badge again. Reynolds' face went blank. His career, his pension, his identity, all gone. He was led away in handcuffs, the same handcuffs he'd threatened to use on Jasmine. Thomas Miller's case was civil, not criminal, but the consequences were real. The investigation found he'd witnessed Rachel's discrimination at least 40 times over 2 years. He'd received complaints from staff, from customers, from corporate HR. He'd done nothing, filed no reports, taken no action. Sterling Dining fired him, permanently banned from their company. His professional reputation was destroyed. Then came the civil lawsuits. Jasmine's attorney filed against multiple parties. Against Rachel Bennett personally, $200,000 for assault, emotional distress, civil rights violations. Rachel would never pay it all, but the judgment would follow her forever. Against the police department, $2.5 million. The settlement included mandatory reforms, body cameras required to stay on, de-escalation training, civilian oversight board, community policing initiatives. Against Sterling Dining Collective, $1.8 million. The settlement required systemic changes across all 127 locations. Mandatory anti-bias training monthly, anonymous reporting systems for discrimination, diverse hiring requirements at management levels, Dr. Wells on the corporate advisory board with real power to enforce change. The money didn't matter to Jasmine. She donated most of it to civil rights organizations, to legal defense funds for people who couldn't afford attorneys, to families fighting similar battles. What mattered was the change. Within 3 months, Sterling Dining had fired 8 more managers for discriminatory practices, promoted 15 employees of color to leadership positions, implemented new training protocols. The police department,